Hal here with more Space Engineers, and as you can see, we've been a little busy off camera. So we've gone ahead and finished welding up the rest of the ship, so it is now completely sealed, except for the areas where we've removed things. We're going to go ahead and finish the conversion process of this ship. I'm going to walk you through what we've done, what we're doing, and hopefully by the end of this episode we should have a space-worthy craft once again. But first, we have to get started, so let's go. So happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully you had a fantastic weekend, and Monday is staying nice and quiet for you. At least, you know, hopefully more quiet than my week was last week. Wow. Oh, let's talk about IT failures, shall we? Oh, man, it was crazy. Alright, so, for what we're going to be doing today is, like I said earlier, we've already started the conversion process for the ship. We're taking it off of ion, and we are retrofitting it for hydrogen power. So we've added a couple of additional hydrogen tanks in here. We are adding a couple of more hydrogen tanks on the back, and we'll actually have large thrusters on these. And then we will have a inverse of that on the front up here. It means we're going to have to do some restructuring here. We're going to be cutting some of this stuff out and replacing some of the items, you know, trying to make it look nice. Now, to facilitate all of this, what we've done is inside we've actually taken out we had a large reactor in here at one point. It was sitting right here before. Let me turn on my headlamp so you can see what's going on. So we have a large cargo pod back there, and then coming out of that we've got this assembly. We've got just basically a bunch of conveyor junctions and conveyor belts, and then we've even been able to get a survival kit in here, so we'll have a mobile base. Like we will actually have this as a mobile base. So we have, you know, some very basic crafting. You come out here and we have an actual basic assembler, which will allow us to do some more additional crafting. Between these two devices, right, the survival kit acts as our primary refinery for right now, just to be able to get the parts together in order to do to convert stone into ingots. From those ingots, we run those through the basic assembler to build our refinery and actual assembler once we find a spot on one of the planets that we want to start building bases on. So the whole ship is really a pretty much a self-contained vessel, exploration vessel. Now over here we do still have our med bay, or I should say our cryo bay. Now we are piping in everything using a lot of conveyor junctions because these will allow us to keep an airtight seal and not have to deal with all of the tubing that we would normally be using to run hydrogen throughout the entire ship. And this also gives us a place to mount the hydrogen thrusters once we have everything set up and done. Alright, so like I said, everything in here is airtight. We can actually shut any particular section and we will get air, which is good, and that is true everywhere once these are all welded up, obviously. And then we have the mirror of that over here in the airlock area, so we will have a completely pressurized ship as soon as we get all this welded up. Now, I have to say, I actually am enjoying the way that this whole thing worked out. Oh yeah, and I forgot, I tucked a basic refinery in here as well, and then above that on both sides are 3 batteries. So we actually have 6 batteries, I think, in there, maybe 8 batteries in there, I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, yeah, so it should be 6 batteries in there. So if we decide to go back to ion, or if we need to put atmospheric thrusters on it for some reason, like when we get down to the Mars-like planet, we'll be able to host at least a couple. And this ship as it is, or as it was with the ions, it took, I want to say, 4 large atmospheric thrusters to maintain its flight capabilities. Anything less than that, and it was unable to fly. It would do really, really weird things. So we have to keep that in mind. And I'm probably going to have to upgrade the power systems for it if we do decide to put atmospherics on there. But for now, let's go ahead. Let's get our thrusters going, because we want to get some of this done today. And we're going to do large thruster here. Not that we really need these, but, you know, they look cool. So that's attached. Okay. And what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to have another set of these for reverse thrust. See, the thing I don't really like about these thrusters, about the large hydrogen, is they are probably the least efficient thrusters in the game. Like, I mean, ridiculously inefficient. But they work. So we're going to use them because we can. So we have those, and then down here we're going to sneak in. And do I have a way to get to the? I do, I think. Oh, I'll have to go through. Looks like I'm going to have to go through the floor to get to these, but I'm taking out portions of this front piece too, so I might be able to get to it. Alright, so we're not going to do... Let's not do the bottom thrusters quite yet, because we're going to end up with 8 of these, and I want to make sure we get all of this welded up before we start throwing those on there. So we'll do the rest of these thrusters, though, because I can get... Oh, you know what? I can't get to that one. Oh, maybe I can. Yeah, I guess I can. Because I'll be able to get to it from the side here if I have to. Alright. Like I said, we're going to redo some of the front here, so I'll probably just pop a section out of there and get those welded up. Alright. And the top, I can get to from inside. Always need to be aware of where you can, making sure that you're able to get to the things that you're placing in order to weld them up, because you don't want to have a hidden hole somewhere in the middle of your ship. But it happens, so. For those who have been watching this channel long enough, you know that I do it regularly. It's a do as I say, not as I do situation, I guess. Alright. So now comes the fun part. We're going to start moving some things around because we need this. We need to make sure we have things like gyros in place. We're just going to drop this stuff off over here for a second, because we're going to end up with a whole lot of supplies. And now I'm going to take some... Oh, oh, didn't want to lose that. Come back here. There's our hydrogen tank. Alright, we're going to grab our gyro. Why? Because we can. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we have 4 gyros on the ship. Both of them are in the nacelle areas. I should say there's 2 of them in each nacelle area on both sides of the ship. And we're going to replace those back here. I might actually throw another battery in here too. That might not be a bad idea, come to think of it. I try to keep all of my gyros in the same line. It's just habit from the old days of Space Engineers. For those who have been playing long enough, you probably understand that comment. For those who are newer to the game, gyros used to be alignment specific. I should say directionally aligned specific. What that means is that when you place a gyro, just like everything else in the game, there's a front, back, right, left, top, bottom, right? Full three-dimensional realization. So based on the direction that little beastie right there, your control panel, was facing, and on the orientation of the base, so if it was on top and faced forward, it would apply gyro motion, I guess would be the torque, based on that alignment. So if you had one that was, say, with the control panel, so like with these are both mounted on the wall here, the same orientation, if one of those was oriented the other direction, it would cut the gyro power, because they would basically be working against each other. So what you'd need to do is you'd have to plan your gyros very, very carefully. That wasn't a thing for very long, if I remember correctly. I just remember that it used to be a thing at one point and was really bloody annoying. Which is why if you look in the really old builds in the workshop, you'll notice that all the gyros are basically mounted in the same direction on the same surface. So, and part of it is also just ease of use. Like I said, I do it more out of habit now. I do a lot of things in this game out of habit, honestly. Just because of the way that things used to work, and they don't work quite like that anymore. In most cases, they don't work like that at all anymore, but I still do it. Like welders used to be able to weld pretty much anything, anywhere. And they used to have a little bit further reach. They used to do... So for a while they were doing a 1x3 grid. When they first were introduced into the game, they were doing, I want to say, a 5x5 or something, or a 5x3 grid. Is it would go out 5 blocks deep but 3 blocks wide, centered on the welder head. And grinders were the same way. And then they slowly started nerfing them a little bit, where they made them a little bit more precise, which actually is really bloody annoying when you're trying to build stuff in this game. Because, as you probably are aware, things don't always match up nicely. Alright, so, let's see, that's going to stay. Now, do I want... Okay, so, this means I am probably going to do that. Yes, I think that's what we're going to do.
Energy low.
Of course my energy is low. Alright, let's see. And take that one out. Take that one out. And I don't have any interior plates because, well, I didn't bring any with me. Alright. So, let's go ahead and see. Did I leave plates in here? I did. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead. We're going to put one of these here. We're going to do the same on the other side. Alright. And that actually wouldn't be a bad design, honestly. But we're gonna go for consistency on this. We'll lay the tank down. Because this is not, well, I guess it is more of an industrial ship than it is an exploration ship. So maybe we could get away with doing the tanks vertically instead of horizontally. Huh. You know what? Let me get some energy here really quick, and we will check that out. I'm kind of curious about how that will look now. Oh, you know what? I don't have to go through all that. We have our ship here. Okay. So, because what I'm thinking is that maybe what we'll do is if we rotate those fuel tanks vertically, so they're aligned vertically. I mean, it doesn't really impact anything. It's just a visual piece, and I'm kind of curious what that'll look like. Because what I might do is I might add 2 more tanks on the back of the ship. That'll be a lot of hydrogen too. That could work really well, actually. Hey, we're in there. Okay. So let me show you what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking is, let's take that out, and we go something like tank there. I mean, we could even do 2 tanks on the front if we do this too. So we'd have, say, a couple of tanks like that. Let's go tank there, second tank there. And then we do the same in the back. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, it's something we can always change later too. These are not drastic changes to the ship, so it's not like we have to repipe everything once it's all piped in. It's going to basically just be, you know, which way do we like it presented. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm thinking I might actually like this. Alright, let's see here. How does that look? You know what? With the way that everything comes together, I kind of like that. It's just different enough. Oh, I think I like that a lot, actually. Alright, let's go. Because what we could do is we could always do the front tanks horizontal. That might be interesting. Alright, so let's see what that looks like from the side profile if we do that. I know, right? Oh. Hal's always got a greeble. Okay. I'm kind of liking that, actually. So we have our choice of that or that. See, I think my concern with it is because I'm going to be putting large thrusters on these. You see, it doesn't quite... Oh, you know what I could do? Oh, yeah, we could actually make that work. Let's see. See, I just... Aesthetically, I think that looks better. Because it keeps all the lines together. But there is something to be said for a slightly different aesthetic. Because what we could do here is, in order to patch all of this together, or to make it look a little bit more consistent, is we do that. And we just run some conduit here, some conveyor tubing. And then when we skin it, you'll basically have the skin, right, the armor blocks laying over top of it, tying it together. That might work. Might mean changing a couple of things over there, but where this side we won't have to do quite the same effort on it. Because what we could do here is we could say, like if we were just doing a quick skin on it, we could do something like that and tie it all together. So it would be just showing you how the line would continue on that. Where on this side, we'll have to figure something out for here, which I'm thinking I will probably, let's get rid of that. Let's grab one of those. I'll probably do something like this with it. And then something like that, maybe? Let's see what that looks like welded up. That could work. Man, that's gonna be a tough. That's gonna be a really tough call. Cause I'm liking the way that both of these look, just for different reasons. You know what? Let's go with the vertical. We'll go with the vertical mount tank instead of the horizontal mounted tank, because looking at the way that the all of the lines are working here, having the pieces that come out like this fit more with the overall design of the ship because we do have that same motif back here as well. So it just kind of fits in with the design a little bit better. I mean, we could still do this and have those mounted horizontally too. But no, we'll go vertical. We'll go vertical with these. It's fine. Okay. So now that that decision's been made. Oh, no, come back here. The game is trying to tell me, no, go horizontal. Alright, so we've got the basic redesign done. What we will do then is I'm going to go ahead and do a quick cut. Let's get this stuff welded up, and I will bring you back once we have things a little bit further along and more ready to go. So we'll be right back. Hi all, and we're back, and we are raising up the print platform so we can get this thing in position to start getting it loaded up. We've already loaded quite a bit of ice into this thing, trying to get the tanks full, and yeah, we're only at 0.5%. It's gonna be a while. Oh, just how much ice did I load in here anyway? So you've got, yeah, so you've got about 500,000 ice, not too bad, right? So as you can see, we did get everything welded up. All of the thrusters are in place. We've gone ahead and done some of the detail greebling that we like to do, you know, just getting things patched in. I have to say that when everything is said and done, oh, looks like we forgot one. When everything is said and done, I do like the way that that came out. The fuel tanks actually work really well like that, as far as the design is concerned, and I kind of like the way the whole thing came together. So now we did have to do a little bit of alteration on interior side because these weren't patched in. So what I've done is I've put 3 conveyor junctions in there just to tie it into the internal set. So now that on both sides, because we did a lot of mirroring when we built the original ship, we have connectors on both ends. So now everything should be tied together, and we can check that by going into these tanks, and you can see them filling. So yes, that tells us everything is piped in. You guys should be piped directly in. Helps if I look at the right menu. Okay, you're at about 2%. And then what we did here is we had to cut into the cargo container that's in there to tie it into the network. So everything is actually piped in and wired up. All of our tanks are filling slowly but surely. And now it's just basically a waiting game. We finished the connector back here. Actually, before I forget, because I always forget to do this on connectors, is to disable the connector strength because we don't want it whipping us around. So what we'll need to do now is build a system that this thing can tie into, because, you know, all of our docking arrays over here are set up around having a bottom connector. We don't have anything set for a higher connector, like a rear connector, that at least will fit this beast. So I'm thinking what we're going to do next is a space elevator. Yeah. And what we'll do is I'm working on the design for it right now, but what I'm thinking, and that'll probably be what we do this week, we'll take that thing out for a flight, probably while we're waiting for resources to process in order to build this thing. But I'm thinking maybe off the top of the base here, what I might do is go ahead and build 4 more refineries, get those up and running. I'm thinking probably expand the solar farm to a couple of more arrays. Condensing our wind farm like we've done on the previous one over here, so that we have large groups of high density wind power. Just get everything condensed down and, you know, get it a little bit more manageable. which will open up a bit of space over here for solar, since solar doesn't have the voxel clearance impact that the wind generators do. And I'll probably actually come through and dig all of this out, because we're going to need the ice. We're going to need a lot of ice. But I'm thinking that, yeah, that might be basically what we have going on at this point. Alright, so let's see here. Ship is basically ready to go. It's just needing to fuel it up. The printer is set, so that's good. So let's go ahead and cut this thing free right now. We're gonna... yeah, that should be good. Awesome, everything latched down, that's good. Awesome, look at you. Alright, so we want half block. I need to make sure that this thing is actually set up as a ship. But I think that's kind of do it for us today. Let's see here, make sure. That looks good. And it did drop us down and latch on, so I just want to make sure, because sometimes space engineers like to space engineer, and yep, okay, it's good. Always check that button, because you never know. And the only thing we have left is we need 4 displays for that, and the ship is done. And as you can tell, we have atmosphere everywhere in the ship now. So we're going to start, actually we'll leave that open. Oh yeah, close that down. We don't want to just start spacing atmosphere because we can. We'll close that down. Okay. And we need 4 displays for that. Okay. So let's drop down here. Let's go grab some displays for this thing so we can get that finished. And then once that's done, the ship is officially done. It's nice to get these things finished, you know? It's always good to get those items on your to-do list checked off. And I think that was also... Let's go ahead and close this down. I think that's also going to do it for us for today. So if you liked the episode, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, there is a section down below specifically for those things. So make sure you leave them there. If you haven't done so already, new to the channel, just want to do something nice for me today, be sure to smack that subscribe button. And if you really want to be kept up to date with what's going on around here, there's a little bell next to that. If you click it, it should let you know when the new episodes come out. And on that note, I think we are buttoned up and just waiting for this thing to finish fueling. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Have a terrific week. And we'll see you back here next time for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. We've got sunset, looking over a plain of ice, and we have to start building more stuff.